my bunnies, it's Ticky's Trinkets here, and today I have for you another Deltarune polymer clay tutorial. Today we are going to be making Noelle from the game. I just think she is so darn cute in the game, and I think this sculpture came out perfectly. She's a lot larger than my previous ones, just like in comparison. Even compared to Rousey, who was a little bit taller than I would have wanted. She's a little bit taller than Rousey too. Like 3.5 inches. She came out kind of big. Excuse me. But other than that, she's like super duper perfect. I made her blushing just because wait a minute. There we go, that's slightly better. I made her blushing because I just thought it'd be a cute little feature for her because she's just so shy and timid in the game. I made her ears blushing because when I blush, my ears blush. Her hair, I did very similar in style to how I did Susie. Her sweater is painted, but you'll see everything like in final detail in the tutorial, including the base. But yeah, I made her to go, you know, I have 3 sets on Etsy. The first one is Rousey and Chris and Susie, right here. And then I listed Lancer, which I'm probably going to reduce in price just a little bit on Etsy, because he was a little more simplistic than the others, so I might go down a little bit on him. And then, or I might just do it cheaper, because Lancer and Noelle are going to be listed together, because I needed a group listing. I want to do one more character as a group with them, but I'm not sure who to do in the group. I don't want to put Susie in the group, because she's in the other group, but you know, Susie and Noelle in the game. But I'm not sure who else to do in the group. But I will do somebody else as a 3-piece part of this set. Unless Noelle or Lancer sell before I can get the pictures taken and before I can get the other one made. But other than that, they'll all be listed together. And it will be a discounted price to buy both. I don't know if I'm going to go down on Lancer's price individually. Or just make the group listing cheaper. But we'll see. I might go down at least $1 or $2 because he was just a lot easier than the others. Well, I can't say a lot, but I mean he was easier. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and stay tuned for another tutorial coming up soon. Next week though, I actually have something different planned. I've noticed a lot of artists last year, since it's 2019 now, welcome to 2019, doing challenges where they would get all their art supplies together and make something with just one color. I have a ton of blue colored clay, so I think I'm going to make something with just blue clay. I think that would be really fun. And on Etsy, I'm also working on another ragdoll set, another horror set. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, so look forward to that on my Etsy shop. You probably won't see it here on YouTube, but you can at least click my link in my channel and go ahead and go over to my Etsy store and just browse it and look at it. You can also follow me on Instagram so you can see when I post things right away. I'm sorry, y'all. But yeah, now I'm babbling. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Stay tuned for another Deltarune tutorial, at least one more. And I will see you guys next time in the next video. So let's get into this. Bye-bye, my bunnies. Alright, for this tutorial, you'll need the following colors. I also use scrap clay, which is just the way I reutilize clay that's been mixed together or messed up. And that's what we're going to start with first. You can always use this to, like, make pieces that are going to be covered up. So I'm using this to make her bottom. As funny as that sounds, I just rolled it into a teardrop shape, and then I just cut off as much as I want to make literally her butt. If you watch any of my videos, they're very similar in style on how I make my things. Next, we're going to go on to her top, or her upper torso. So we're not going to need all of that. About 1/4 of a log of clay, you know, the 4 pieces of clay. This is one section, and we only need 75% of that. Roll that out into a ball. Then after you do that, just very similar, we're going to roll this into a teardrop shape. And we're also going to cut this just like we did the other piece, like so. But instead of keeping the bottom piece, we're going to keep the top piece and make sure it lines up and fits about the same. Just do that, just stick it on to make sure it fits. It should look just like this, or at least very close to this. Once you've gotten it how you like, cut the top part off to leave room for her neck. And then we're done with the green color clay, so you can put all that back up. Next, we're going to go on to the tan color clay that we have here. And we're going to start by rolling out all the balls that we need, and that'll be all these right here. And we'll start with these 2 medium-sized balls, which are going to be her legs. And we're just going to roll these into very long log shapes, as so. And then after you get them in the long log shapes, you're going to cut them both on a bias, one to the left, one to the right, and then cut the bottom parts off so they're both flat on the bottom. Then where the bias is on both, press it against the bottom, the back of her bottom, so that they sit like this. Make sure it's flat against the work surface too. Next, we're going to go ahead and move on to the black and then come back to the beige in just a moment. We're going to roll out 5 balls of black clay, and we're going to start with the largest one. This is going to be her skirt, so you're going to roll this thing out very long and very flat. Make it as flat as you possibly can without it tearing. And once you've done that, take a long blade or your X-Acto tool and just cut it into a giant rectangle, but make sure that it's at least an inch or a half an inch in length. No, excuse me. Yeah, length. How tall it is, the height. And then just wrap it around the body, and then just smooth it to the body. Make sure you smooth it on the front, and make sure you turn it around and smooth it where the two seams meet in the back. If there's any excess hanging off when you do wrap it around, just cut it off. Once you've done that, we're going to move on to the next part of the black clay. So we're going to use these 2 small balls in the front, and you're going to roll these into very long teardrop shapes like so. And you're going to cut the tops and the bottoms off both, just so you can get these little chubby log shapes right here. I don't know what else to call them, but these are going to be her hooves or her feet. And then the flat, smaller, more narrow end just stick to the legs or the ankles. And voila, hooves. Next, we're going to use the last 2 balls, and we're going to again make very long teardrop shapes, and these are going to be her sleeves or her arms. And you're going to cut the tops out biased, just like with the legs, and cut the bottoms off, just like with the legs. And then go ahead and bend them to the position you want. I just want her hands kind of very gently touching, like she's very timid, because it's just suiting for her character. Next, we're going to make her tail, because I've seen fan art. Some people give her a tail, some people don't, but since she's a deer, I'm giving her a tail. Just roll that into a very chubby teardrop shape, like so, and just stick it on the back side, and try to make it as close to the center as possible. It was kind of hard. I kept having to move it. I couldn't find where the straight part would be at. Next, we're going to take the other 2 small balls of clay that we had closest towards us, roll these into very chubby teardrop shapes, and then we're just going to cut off the long parts, like so, and then just smush them against your work surface so that they're flat on one side but round on the other. These are her hands. You can set those to the side for now. Next, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go on to this little itty bitty ball for her neck. So you're going to roll it into a teardrop shape, and you're going to want to cut the top part and the bottom part of it off so that there's just a very fat log shape right here. And the fatter side, just stick it against the top part of the t-shirt. Voila, and stick a metal wire of some sort in there for support, or you can use tinfoil. I like wiring, it's easier. Then you can just go ahead and stick the hands on there. I could have done that sooner, but I just waited. I don't know why. Next, we're moving on to the head, which in my opinion is the most difficult part, so please pay attention. This ball, you're going to roll it between your index and thumb, making it more pointed at the top, kind of like an egg shape. Then I lie it against the desk, and the top, more narrow part, I press down with my finger. That way it gives an indentation where your eyes and nose are, just like this. And you want the back of the head flat for when the hair goes on. That's the best way I can explain that. Next, we're going to make her ears, and we're going to take these other 2 balls of beige clay that we had left. Well, I think there was, yeah, we still got the antlers left, but these were the bigger ones. And you're just going to roll these into chubby teardrop shapes. And then you're going to take your X-Acto blade or a rolling pin and just kind of smush in the center of them so that they get this indentation. Just smush it until it just makes a little dip. Then just pinch them and curl them in on themselves so they're curled just slightly. And we're going to set those to the side for now and move on to the antlers, which are the last 2 balls of clay. And you're going to roll these into very long, thin log shapes. I never know what shapes to call things. And then you're just going to cut these and make them very, very short. And with a little bit of excess clay, just make 2 little balls and stick them to the side of each one and blend them to it so it looks like antlers. That's the easiest way I can put that. Just blend it until it looks like it matches. Next, we're going into the red clay, which I only used to make her nose, but you could use this to make the checker pattern on her shirt, but we're going to paint that on later. That's just me, it's easier. Then I just got green out for her eyes. I don't know what her eye colors are supposed to be, but since she's Christmassy, I went with green. Next, we're going to go on to her hair, so we're starting with the yellow. And you're going to need 4 balls of clay right here. And we're going to start with the medium-sized one, which is about a 1/2 inch in diameter, not too large. Then you're just going to press that down flat against the work surface so that it's round on one side, flat on the other. Then stick that onto the back of the head and blend it to the head, just like this. Make sure you blend it all the way around so it's nice and smooth. It don't have to look pretty. We're going to cover it up with the bangs. So for the bangs, you're going to need these last 2 little balls. You're going to roll them into very long teardrop shapes. And for the one on the left, you're just going to go ahead and stick that to the head and then press it down so it's kind of flattened, like so. And then for the right side, you'll do the exact same thing. And after you've done that, you can go ahead and stick the ears directly behind that, just like this. After you've done that, you can go ahead and stick the antlers on. You can go ahead and use glue for the antlers. But let me say this now, even though I didn't say it earlier, don't glue the head on. I hope y'all didn't glue the head on. Oh, it'll make it really hard for you. Next, we're taking that large ball of clay and we just rolled it to make it into a very oblong shape that you saw on the last slide. Then press it flat against your work surface so it's still domed on the top, flat on the bottom, just like the head. Cut the top off, like so. Cut 2 little slits into the sides to make the little curls on her hair. And then just cut 2 little moon shapes into the bottom of her hair. And then after you do that, just smooth it out and make it rounded with your fingers. And I just kind of twisted the bottom tip just to make it a little more flowy, to give it a little more animation. After you've done that, you want her hair to curl towards her face, so you're just going to take it and put it on your X-Acto blade or rolling pin and push it so it curls around that. Then stick it on the head, which this will be much easier if you didn't glue the head, and blend it in very gently with your tool or fingers. Very gently. See, I took the head off here so I could blend the back side too. Just be very careful. And then after this, you want to leave the head removed and you're going to get your red paint, and this is how you're going to do the checkerboard pattern. Just very carefully, just do 4 red squares in the front and 5 red squares on the back of the shirt. It doesn't have to look perfect, but do the best that you can. I'm not a good painter, I'm going to be honest. And then use your X-Acto blade to make her mouth. I didn't do her teeth, but you can if you want to. Just use white clay and make 2 little teeth. Pretty easy. Next, I took my glue and finally glued on the head. And you can glue the ears and the antlers and things like that. Then I took out some pink mica powder and brushed on the blush on her cheeks and ears. Then I got black acrylic paint and dotted on her polka dots because she does have like freckles on her cheeks in the game and some parts with the little sprite character. Then just take out your rubbing alcohol and cotton swabs and clean areas that don't have mica powder or paint on them and make sure it looks nice and pretty. I only used 2 cotton swabs and this is how it looked afterwards. Then just go ahead and glue on the arms and make sure everything else is glued on except for the eyes. Don't glue the eyes either. Take the eyes back out because these are plastic beads. Or you can make the eyes out of clay. It's all up to you. Then I baked it today in a 350-degree gas oven for 12 minutes. If you want to do electric, feel free to ask me and I'll tell you that as well. After it's baked and fully cooled off, then you can get your glue and glue the eyes back into the sockets, like so. Next, I like to glue my sculptures to bases now for more security. So we're going to paint the base with green and red, more Christmas theme. Using the paintbrush, I painted it red. And after that dried, I took my largest ball dotting tool in green and just dotted on a bunch of polka dots. Right here. Cute, right? Looks like an ornament and it's cute. After that's fully dry, take some E6000 and you're going to glue her to the base. I've made it where her legs are pointing out, but you can do it however you want. You don't even have to use a base if you don't want to. I just like it. Then I use polyurethane floor varnish to glaze her with 2 coats of glaze, and you're done. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you like this video, and stay tuned for more Deltarune tutorials. Have a good evening. Bye-bye, my bunnies.